What radio? The music you want.
With your host, Keys Dan.
Go ahead. Make my millennium.
RadioWhat.com.
What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live in a living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, DJLittleRock.com. Please go to DJLittleRock.com, check availability, and get a free price quote. And maybe you can have me at your next event. Book early, book often, have me entertain you. Today on the program, Rodney Gillespie. He's a boxer. He's got a boxing gym. Yeah, we're going to talk to Rodney Gillespie. I'm excited about that. I know he's had some kind of a career, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. And you get to have that to look forward to in the next few minutes. This week's shows, it's Thursday, so tonight I'll be at the Old Post Barbecue in Russellville, Arkansas from 6 to 9. It's the video dance party, karaoke jam, family friendly, bring everybody. It's a great after-school treat. It's a great after-work treat. Yes, they have great barbecue and frosty beverages for the adults if you care to imbibe, but you know I keep the music family friendly. So all the people can enjoy themselves at the Old Post Barbecue in Russellville, Arkansas. Be there, 6 to 9. Tomorrow night, Friday. It's Friday. Yeah, you've been working hard all week. What better way to spend your time than with your friends at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas? Video dance party, karaoke jam. Yeah, I said karaoke. You're the stars of the show. They got a big dance floor all lit up, and then they have the full bar, the kitchen. They got wings and hamburgers and pizzas, Jersey Girl pizza. Get into that. There's also the pool tournament that's going on the other side of the room. They have 10 diamond class pool tables. I'm not sure what that is, but it sounds fancy. So if you want to try to make some money on a Friday night, get in on the pool tournament. Do it. And then on it outside in the party patio, they got shuffleboard, foosball, Jenga, checkers. So much to do. Oh, they got darts, too. So, yeah, drunk people with darts. It's fun, man. It's just fun to be there at the Rab Friday night. Come on out and play with us. Friday night from 8 p.m. until almost 2 in the a.m. Do it. And then on Saturday night, Saturday, I'll be over at the Choctaw VFW in Choctaw, Arkansas. Get to the show. They got the big room all set up. I'll have it lit up pretty nice. And you are the stars of the show. Video dance party, karaoke jam. They got pool tables. They got the bar. And they got, fellas, they have interesting things going on in the bathrooms. Check it out. I think that they might have been designed by paratroopers. You'll know what I mean if you come out to the Choctaw VFW in Choctaw, Arkansas on Saturday night from 9 p.m. until 1 in the a.m. Be there. It's going to be a whole fun weekend for me. Partying with the people. Without further ado, let's get into it with Rodney Gillespie. I'm going to go take a trip to Rodney Gillespie's boxing gym over on Markham Street in Conway, Arkansas. Transporting myself to Rodney Gillespie now. Rodney Gillespie, Gillespie's Boxing Gym, Conway, Arkansas, 1101 Markham Street, Conway, Arkansas. Just so you know where to find Rodney Gillespie and Gillespie's illustrious boxing gym. All right, now give the people a little idea of who you are, Rodney Gillespie.
Now that you put it like that, that's
Yes.
who I am. Okay,
Yes.
I am Rodney Gillespie, and I started boxing at the age of 8 years old. I was a bullied kid and lived in the projects, which you could say was at that time was poor and a bad place to be.
What project would that be?
It was called the White Projects.
Where?
In Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Ah.
Back then they had a section of Hot Springs that they had now keep in mind these are all low income projects or whatever, but they had a section they called the White Projects, and then they have another section across town called the Black Projects, which later on became just all as one.
Okay.
But it started off like that. In going through those times, I was a bully kid in my little section of neighborhood, and
What year were you born?
I was born in 1972.
So we get a little idea in
Yes.
the early 70s how Hot Springs in that area, the White Projects, the Black Projects.
Yes.
And
Yes,
you're in the
sir.
Black Projects. It's real segregated in that area. Did
I lived in the White Projects.
Oh, you lived in the White Projects.
Yes, I lived in the White Projects.
How did that make it? How did that work out?
Well, it was, they at that time the White Projects was a little bit softer than the Black Projects. Keep in mind, both black and white people lived in both areas.
Okay,
It
so
was
you
just-
did get along with each other.
Yeah.
You did know each other.
Right.
It wasn't
right,
that segregated.
Right. It wasn't that segregated. It was
Okay.
just, it wasn't. Everyone had already come together, but it wasn't known like it needed to be to where they can just put it together and make one.
Yes.
And so that didn't last very long. That was 1980, which is when I started boxing.
Right. You say you started boxing at 8 years
8
old.
years old in 1980.
Wow.
And that is the competition age that you are allowed to actually compete is 8 years old. It's still like that today even.
Had you done any boxing beforehand? I mean,
I
I'm
did
guessing
not.
you punched something as a little boy, because little boys like to hit things. How did boxing come about? How did this become a choice at 8 years old?
Actually, it was the total opposite. I didn't want to hit anything.
Oh, that's
I didn't
nice.
want to hit anything. I didn't want to get hit. But we had a neighborhood bully, and he kind of forced the defend yourself or take a butt whooping, and I had one too many butt whoopings, So my mother heard about a boxing program at the Hot Springs Boys Club, and so she took me there, and I took boxing or whatever, and decided I wanted to get on the team, because you didn't have to get on the team. You could just do it for the workout, and I decided I wanted to get on the team. I'm going to skip around and just say I developed a nickname, which the nickname came as Chicken. And on top of that, it gets even better.
Okay.
I lost my first 6 fights.
Okay.
So, in coming to the 7th fight, I was on the verge of being done with boxing, because it had become mental to where I felt like I couldn't win, and it was really. I remember being just 8 years old and just kind of depressed on the team, because it was like everyone on the team would win but me.
Were they bigger than you, or were they still fighting in classes?
Still in classes and stuff. Still everything was still the same.
Weight
class,
classes.
weight, age, and experience. So it was just I would get the bad. I was the kind of kid that would hit, but not want to get hit.
Yeah.
So that's where the name Chicken came from, because I was really fast and got to where I could really do it almost any time that I wanted. So that being said, skipping ahead to 1993,
Okay.
which is the National Golden Gloves. Keep in mind, I lost my first 6 fights
Yeah.
at 8 years old.
Yeah, you're reminding me of when I was in Goju.
When I was-
at Goju Karate, and my first tournament, I'm a white belt. They put me against a black belt. He hit me once. I'm done.
Exactly.
So that could depress a kid.
It could depress a
I
kid.
never wanted to go back to karate again. Same as you didn't want to go into boxing
I did not
anymore.
want to do it anymore.
Hang the gloves up at 8 years
I
old.
wanted to hang them up, and that man, my boxing coach.
Do you remember his name?
Yes, Captain McCoy. He just passed about a year ago.
Oh.
And he is the reason why I'm here to begin with. he was an inspiration to me. He told me not to give up. He gave me special one-on-one training. He put me in a tournament, and I got my first win in a major tournament. And then
8, 9 years old?
I was still 8.
8 years old still?
Yeah, I was still 8.
Okay.
I was about to turn 9.
You went from I'm about to give it up to
Yeah.
I win.
Yep, I win. Then once I got in the win column, I stayed in there to when I turned 15, I was a national champion.
Yes.
So I had a belt and everything at 15 years old, national champion. By the time I was 17.
Well, young man from Hot Springs, were you traveling all
I
over
was
the country?
all over yeah, that's what I was getting ready to get at.
Yes.
In doing that, I had already, at 15 years old, I had already seen 20 states at least.
Yes.
By the time I was 19 years old, I was already riding on private jets, and they're flying private jets to Hot Springs and flying me to fights during the school nights. I go fight somewhere, black tie event or something, and they fly me back and go to school the next day. Oh man,
Wow.
It was awesome. I did that all the way until 1997 is when
Were you still getting bullied at this point, or did
No,
was
the
the bullying days
the bullying
done at
stopped,
8
the
years
bullying
old?
stopped. I think the bullying stopped when I turned about 10.
Okay.
Cause
And it was that same one big kid?
Same kid. Yep. But it stopped about 10 years old
10
because
years old.
it got to where he had found out about all the wins, because it was just win after win. I went a few years without losing, at all.
How many fights in a year, maybe, or in a month, or whatever?
Well, I had, let's see, from 1980 to 1993, I had 115 wins and 20 losses. That's 135 fights in a 15-year span.
Ooh. Yeah, doing the
was
math,
busy.
it sounds like a lot of fights.
It was a lot of fights.
And how do you prepare for these fights? You're training, you're probably sparring and getting hit
lots of sparring,
as well.
a lot of sparring, a lot of conditioning, a lot of conditioning. I was told, and by many, even to this day, that I was probably the most superb athlete as far as being in shape and ready to go.
You look it to me, and that picture that's right in the front as you walk in the door with your little shorts that say chicken right on them.
Yeah.
You look in amazing shape, man. You could probably fly around the ring and attack people without even them knowing where you're coming from.
Man, I tell you what, those pictures are something else, because I was hungry.
Oh yeah, you remember the glory days. Everybody had glory days.
I was
man.
hungry. I was hungry. In every way I was hungry. I was literally hungry on that picture. I wanted to eat something right there. And I could, I held the same weight class from 1988 all the way till 1998, which is when I turned professional.
What class is this?
Featherweight.
Featherweight.
125.
It's exactly 125?
125-pound weight class is the weight class that I weighed in 1988 at 15 years old, and I held that weight class all the way till I was 20-something, 27.
That's
discipline. I was
tight,
very
man.
disciplined, yeah.
That's tight. Yeah. And you just don't eat for the last 2 months or so.
I just what happened was I got I walk around heavy. I walk around about 10 pounds heavy. In about 6-8 weeks before the fight, get it off. They still do that to this day. That's
how do you get it off? With running and
a lot of running and a lot of you got to change your diet. You got to definitely change your diet. But I'd say a lot of running, a lot of sweating.
Is that something you know about? Is the dieting as well?
I don't like to say much about that because of licenses and all that good stuff.
Understood.
But I do know a boxer's diet.
Right. You know what
I know what it takes to get to what we need.
Yeah. A little bit of friendly advice. You're not certified as a dietitian.
None of that.
We'll put that on there.
Right.
And make sure that people know that. But you know what worked for you.
Right. And that's exactly what I use in teaching this sport, is what worked for me. Nothing that I teach I haven't experienced already. So I'm not one of those coaches to where I'm reading a book trying to figure out what to do, what this is, what that is. next year I'll be pushing 40 years experience.
Yes.
I'm at 39 years right now. I'm getting phone calls now from in the country and out the country to do all kinds of different things. Because there's nothing that you can ask me that I don't know when it comes to boxing. And what I see, my dream is to be a commentator.
Right.
Which is what I really want to do, because I get so upset in watching commentators call fights that they really don't know anything about.
Absolutely.
Or say, this guy should have done this, that, the other, da. Well, if you never fought before, or you never been on that other end or been in that deep water,
right,
then who's you to say what this man should do or whatever? That's what separates me from all the other commentators, is that I've done it, and it's like chewing gum.
Sure.
And what are you gonna tell me? What boxing education question are you gonna, what can you ask me that I don't know?
Yeah, it's obvious that you've taken some experience that you've had and you've become a coach. Now you get to be the teacher, and eventually you will be someone that possibly could be on the radio or television commentating on fights and such. But that's why we're going through your illustrious career, to let people know the background of Rodney Gillespie and Gillespie's Boxing Gym, why you opened this gym, and who you are. So you went from 8 years old in 1980 all the way to 1993, and is there anything that happened in the middle of that? Because I know that 1993 was a big year for you. Let's go a little further in depth from 80 to 93. Was there anything that happened?
After in 1988, I remember some days now. In 1988 is when I won my national silver gloves title. I was 15 years old.
Yes.
Once I won that title, all the doors opened. And I say that because I went on to winning that and to fighting the Junior Golden Gloves, which is a warm-up to the Golden Gloves.
Okay, now what's a silver gloves
as
opposed to a golden gloves?
All right, now silver gloves, I was a national silver gloves champion, which is the highest, it's the highest belt as a kid.
A kid meaning before 15?
8 and 15 years old.
8 to 15.
That's the highest belt that you get. And the reason why it's so, why silver gloves and golden gloves, why they're so big and so powerful tournaments, is because they're level tournaments that you have to win the state golden gloves, which is 3 days. Now keep in mind, you cannot lose. If you lose, you're out.
Oh,
okay.
One and done.
It's one and done. It's elimination. One and done. Okay. So you fight the state silver gloves, which is 3 days. You're gonna probably fight 3 times. There's a possibility you could lose. Then you got, at that time you had the regionals, which was maybe 4 days. Now the region, that means you're fighting. You won the state, so now you're the state 125-pound champion. Now you're going to the regional, which is 5-6 states around us, which is Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri. So you got all those other states around us. Now you got to win the regional tournament, which is 4 days. You can't lose.
Now what kind of time between these fights do you get to recover?
You don't. You fight one day after the next.
Wow. And you got to stay at this 125 weight
every day.
So you're hungry.
When you win your fight.
Yeah.
Okay, you go in, let's say you fight Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Wednesday morning, you got to weigh in again.
There's no pizza that night. No ice cream.
Well, you're going to probably lose weight fighting anyway.
Yes, agreed. I believe you.
I mean, that's what happened. We lose weight. But in doing that, okay, so you go to the regional, you got 3-4 days of winning that. So then once you win the regional, then you got to go to the nationals. Now, the nationals is what it is.
Yes.
All your champions, which is in your weight, I had a popular weight class. 125 was very popular for a 15-year-old.
Really?
And which is still a popular weight class now.
Wow.
But at that, I had probably 50 125s in these brackets of, and I'm fighting out of measly little Arkansas.
Yes.
So it's a big deal to sit there and watch knock off guys
Yes.
one after another to go to the finals.
Yes.
And meet who did I meet in the finals? God, it was I met either Hawaii or I can't remember.
Rodney Gillespie, I'm thinking about you on a board, your name, you're watching your name on brackets slowly coming in from the outside of the brackets, win, until there's only two.
Two left, me and him.
You and him.
Yeah.
And you think maybe Hawaii, possibly.
And it's 5 days. He's beat up and battered. I'm beat up and battered because we done fought all these days before.
Yeah.
He's
I mean,
on
what
the
kind of
side
injuries are you looking at? Do you have black eyes, bloody lips?
I didn't have any injuries. Thank the Lord. I had 0 injuries.
No, thank the Lord. Thank your skill, too. Thank the Lord thank your skill. Because, yes, you being the chicken, you like to hit, but not get hit.
And that's exactly what worked for me.
That's a good strategy.
Right. and it worked because I was one of the only fighters that could do interviews after they fought, or could take pictures, or could go out, or whatever after a boxing match. I didn't lose a tooth, I didn't lose an eye, I didn't lose nothing because I didn't get hit.
And your face still looked pretty. To quote the greatest, still pretty.
Exactly. That's what that's what you got to do. I was an aggressive fighter too, though. I fought on aggression. That losing. I mean, I know it's crazy. I'm 47, about to be 48 years old. But
hey, I'm 50. We're the same age.
Losing those fights at 8 years old, still to this day, like in my head. And when I would get in that ring, I would transform into like something that I did not have any control over. And I just, and which I haven't yet, but I have some videos, some DVDs of myself boxing in a couple major tournaments. One of them is a major tournament which we hadn't talked about yet that I won, and I did the same thing in that tournament with brackets, and I was about 18 or 19.
18 or 19. So 1980 was a pivotal year for you when you started boxing, when you lost those fights that affected your head for the rest of your life. Then at 15 years old, just a few years later, you win these
doors start opening.
Oh, a silver glove.
Silver glove. That's I won that title.
I'm so excited for you, man.
I won that title. I was like, I mean, it was a very big title, and then I was like, oh man, now I got to go win the Golden Gloves title. And I was like, okay. My coach telling me, he's like, okay, it's the same way. You got to do the same thing to get there, And he said the only difference now is that in the Golden Gloves you have a novice division and an open division.
Oh, okay.
And the only way that you're gonna get any credibility is to be in the open division.
Oh.
But at that time they say the open division, you'd have to. The open division was like 18 and up. And you'd have to have so many fights to be declared as an open fighter.
Right.
So when I come out the silver gloves at 15, I turned 16. So of course I'm out of the 16, and my coach told me that he wanted me to fight the Golden Gloves, but he wanted me to fight the novice division first.
So you would have had to have done it twice. You would have gone through the novice. Try to win that. If you did win, if and when you did win, you would have to go back through and go for the open. Is that right?
No.
Okay, totally different. All right, explain.
Yeah,
Sorry.
All right, so the novice division in Golden Gloves, I went in and I won that tournament. I mean, it was super easy, and I watched the open division fighters in my same weight class. I watched them fight, and I was like, to myself, I'm only 16.
Right.
These open division fighters in their 20s and stuff. 20s.
So novice, are these people that just started fighting?
Well, you're a novice by age.
Okay.
Because you're still a kid. All right. The open division, you consider grown-ups and stuff, fighting each other and stuff.
Okay.
But I was looking at them, and I'm just 16. I'm looking at the grown-ups and stuff fight each other. I'm like, man, I could whoop them. So... But I mean, I couldn't do anything at that time. I'm just a kid. My coach is calling all the shots.
Yes.
So we went on and we fought the novice division, and of course I won it. And then I got presented Outstanding Fighter Award for winning that tournament.
Yes.
And so I'm 16, and they have another tournament coming up, which is the USA tournament. which is at the Olympic Training Center. And if you win the state and the regional, just like the other tournament, you get to go to the nationals, which is at the Olympic Training Center.
Where's that at?
Colorado Springs.
And that's the big one.
That's the big one. That's the big one. So the only way you can enter this tournament is to be open.
Mm-hmm.
Coach had a long talk with me.
Yes.
And asked me if it's something I wanted to do. You think you're ready? I'm like, yeah, I know I'm ready. And so I fought the tournament, and I won the state.
Okay.
I got presented Outstanding Fighting Award after winning that tournament. Then I fought the regionals. Got presented Outstanding Fighting Award in there too.
Yes.
St. Louis, Missouri. I'll show you the picture here in a little while.
Yes.
After I won the regionals, they presented me a trophy with the St. Louis Arch on it, and the mayor presented it to me, and it was a really big deal, because I'm from Arkansas. I'm in a whole nother state,
You're a young man from
I'm
Hot
from
Springs,
Arkansas. And so
wow, what are you doing here?
What am I doing
You had
here?
to take an assessment of how you got here.
What the crap is going on?
And I mean, how do you feel? This
Yeah.
is good.
And so it happened, and I won that, and then I went on to Colorado Springs, of course.
16, 17 years old?
17 years old.
How's the schooling in this?
My school was very supportive. They would send me homework. They would treat boxing like basketball or football in the school. So they kind of it worked out very. And I was a pre-AP student, by the way.
Wow, good student.
Yeah.
He's beautiful and smart and strong.
Yeah. So that's now. The pre-AP, all that stuff came into play because of where I am now today, and able to because I can comprehend very well.
Well, there had to be family life too. How did the parents treat you?
Right.
What were your parents like?
My mom did best she could until she was like till I was about 12.
Yeah.
And then I had a stepdad that moved in, which later on in my boxing career became a crackhead.
Oh.
And so that turned out to be a bad deal, and I had to, so I had a lot of things. Now, keep in mind, I'm boxing this whole time as all this crap's going on around my house and in front of me. And
right.
so I had a lot to fight for, but I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. I went on to go to Colorado Springs because I didn't win it when I got out there, but I made it.
Yes.
But I never did win it.
Yes.
But I win fights out there. When I got there, I would still win some fights, but it was just so political. It was like I remember it so good.
Yes.
I'm just an Arkansas Razorback. I had to almost kill that guy to win. Honestly. If I didn't knock him out, I wouldn't get my hand raised. And that's the mentality, even to this day, that we have to have going into big events like that. Arkansas is not, that's why when I got my first opportunity to fight against another country, that's why I performed the way that I did.
Yes.
We fought against. They placed me on a U.S. team to fight against Sweden, Ireland, and Russia. And I remember fighting the Russian and stopping him in the first round with a body shot. Early in the first round, I caught him into the stomach with a body shot.
All right.
I remember that.
Knocked the wind right out of him,
Yeah.
and he just went down to the ground.
I remember that very well.
Wow. And what year was this, or how old were you?
That had to. I think I was in somewhere, but probably early 20s.
Early 20s.
Early 20s. I was already. I mean, I won the Mid-South Golden Gloves.
Yeah.
I always made it to the Nationals.
Yeah, you've established yourself as a fighter in the 125 weight class.
Yeah.
And my goodness, it seems like you're a smaller man, but keeping 125 for that whole time had to be a struggle.
It was a lot of discipline.
A lot of discipline.
Yeah.
And you've gained that knowledge in your own experience to be able to pass it on. And man, and you fought a Russian, All right, it's after the Cold War, so but you still feel like you
I did,
you
yeah.
beat this man and across the globe.
Yeah.
You're fighting around the world.
Yeah.
What a feeling is this, man? In your 20s, I guess this is the 90s, maybe.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the 90s.
This is in the 90s. The whole shebang, man, from riding in private jets and stuff on school nights and stuff was like, I
How are you supporting
that,
yourself
man.
financially on
My
in
coach,
this?
man, rest in peace. I really don't know where the money came from.
Huh.
Now, I do know that when I turned professional, I got a nice little sign-on bonus.
Okay, and what year was this?
90... Was it 93? I Googled.
Yeah, because 93, I'm seeing that fight. And we haven't talked about that fight where you were... there's a news clipping out there.
Yeah.
Okay, because we've been kind of skipping ahead a little bit.
That was I stayed amateur 4 more years after that, which I have to see pictures to remember what happened in the other 4 years. Which
Right.
I know that it was all good because I fought the national. I Googled and found I fought the national Golden Gloves in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I think they said that's where I was.
Right.
I've been so many places.
Oh my goodness!
Forgot, man.
You fought 135 fights by that time. It's hard to know where you
Right.
were at any given moment.
I even found the trip I was telling you about on the private jet. I found an article, Googled and found an article, and they told all about it. And I didn't know a lot of stuff, a lot of detail what they put in there. They had a champion there. They had flew me in to fight their champion, their Oklahoma champion. And he was a big deal and was like winning and beating all these people. And they flew this Arkansas kid in that came in, and I was an upset. I upset him in his hometown.
Ooh.
And I found it. Yeah, I sat there, I told my wife, I said, baby, I said, I never knew because, so many years ago, I didn't know why I was going down there. It was a fight.
Right.
I know I'm getting decked out and everybody has on ties and stuff. I remember that. And I remember someone giving us a few $100s a piece.
Okay.
I remember, me and another fighter getting a few $100s a piece.
Right. A little spending money here.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what happened. I read it when they flew me out and all that good stuff. So it's, because I have like certain things I remember. It's back and forth.
Sure.
Because it's so many years. I'm 39 years.
Well, Rodney Gillespie, having the prestige of going in private jets, that has value in itself. But I was wondering how you were feeding yourself, how you were keeping a roof over your head. You were making money as a boxer.
I wasn't. No, actually, at the beginning, my coach was doing a whole lot. When I turned 20, I always kept a job.
Okay.
Always kept a job. Always kept 1-2 jobs. I mowed lawns and all that stuff. I always kept a job.
Well, good. Hard working.
I always kept a job. But then I turned about 21 years old, and I met a friend that introduced me to fast money.
Okay.
And when he introduced me to fast money, I was like, man, this is too easy. I became a damn drug dealer.
Yikes.
And I made a lot of money. I really did. I made a lot of money. And I kept boxing.
Okay.
While I was doing it, I kept boxing. And my coach at the time was the captain of the police force up there at the police department. So I was kind of cocky with it a little bit.
Yeah, you were under his nose.
Right.
Doing
And he knew
this.
it.
Oh, he knew it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He would tell me every day, watch your ass.
Stop doing it.
Stop doing it. Watch your ass. You're going to get caught. And he was right.
If you don't mind, what kind of drugs? Or do you not want to say?
What kind of drugs?
Because there's drugs at different levels.
Right.
I mean, marijuana is about to be legalized all over
Scarface.
the country. Okay, gotcha. Now we know.
That's
Now we know.
it.
Yeah.
And and I got in trouble, and the judge, I thank the judge and everybody in the Hot Springs for what they did, the way that they sentenced me, and the way that they let me know that I was supposed to be an example setter, and let me know that I let the city down.
Yes.
I felt really bad about when I went in. I felt bad. They made sure of it. That judge, everyone made sure of it. Although I apologized to the court and everybody, and to the city for what I did, but they could have totally turned their back on me. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't.
No, this is a young man with his whole life ahead of him. He's got a skill that not a lot of people have.
Right.
You're winning fights. Yes, you stepped off and you did this bad thing. How long did you get stuck behind bars?
The judge, all right, with my good record of not being in trouble and everybody behind me whatever, that helped out a whole lot. And my attorney, I had a pretty high dollar attorney at the time, which became he became prosecuting attorney after that.
Oh.
Yeah, but he was just my attorney at the time.
He switched to the other side.
Yeah. And he talked them into they let me self-surrender.
I don't know what that means.
That means that he set me down and gave me about 6 different dates, 6 different prisons.
Uh-huh.
And we negotiated on where I wanted to go and what date I wanted to leave out.
Yeah.
That's what the city did for me. They didn't embarrass me, come handcuff me, and let the world know and do me like that. Because I sat there and I made a promise to the judge that once this was all over with, that I was going to do the right thing.
Yes.
And he took my word for it. Mm-hmm. Although, all right, I thought I was going to get some probation because I had spent a lot of money on this attorney and everything was looking good. And so I had high hopes and everything, and going to court that I was just going to get some probation because I'd never been in trouble, really.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he said that he said that you have anywhere from 6 to 24 months you're looking at. He said, we're probably going to looking more at the 6 months, considering it's your first time, and and you don't have no violent charges and all that good stuff. So I'm in high spirits still. I'm like, okay. We go to court. Judge sentenced me 24 months. They say that you can get between 6 and 24 months. The judge was still hurt, and he gave me 24 months.
The maximum.
Yep. He told me that I can get out within 18 months, 6 months, good behavior. Good time. Well, I'm a boxer. I'm not going to get any good time in prison.
Right. So you had trouble in prison as well.
Oh, God, yes. I defend myself.
Yes.
And did it.
Yes.
Did it. I spent 64 days in the hole for it. Of that 2 years. I spent 64 days in the hole.
And that's solitary confinement?
Yeah.
And what year, how old were you when you actually went in to jail, prison?
20. I was out in 2000, 2001.
2001. So you're 28 years old at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. So in your late 20s, you spend it in prison, for this thing that you did. You had a promising career at this point as a boxer. 125, was that, you said featherweight? Featherweight class.
Yeah.
I watch featherweights on TV, and they're amazing fights because they're just so fast. And these are the punches. Fantastic. All right. going back, you got into some trouble in the prison, and then we get out.
And then I get out. I get out with intentions to get back in the ring.
Yes.
To, make some money.
Yes, you're 28 years old. You're a young man. You still got.
And one thing I skipped around, and I left something out.
Go ahead.
Let me go back real quick. Before I went into prison, the court allowed me to have one more boxing match, one more professional boxing match.
Before you surrendered?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering about that. You were going to get your affairs in order and
Right.
make sure everything was straight before you went in.
Right.
And they allowed you to have another fight.
Let me do that.
Is this a money fight?
Yes. It's a
Okay.
professional fight.
All right.
So it was in Little Rock, and I fought on the card, and I knocked him out. I stopped him in the first round, and it was the very last time my coach got to work my corner, actually.
Ah.
That was the very last time he got to work my corner. But I had stopped the guy, and then I was in prison a week later. Yeah.
And you won that fight?
Yeah.
And you made a couple bucks to put in the bank, at least a little bit?
When I went into prison, I had a girlfriend.
Okay.
That was, for the most part, she took care of me while I was in there. So she made sure I was straight and all that stuff, along with what I had.
Yes.
So I wasn't like down and out at anything.
Right. You had somebody backing you up.
Oh man, yeah. You would thought I was on vacation. I would send pictures home. They looked like I was on vacation.
Oh.
Even when I was in the hole, I made the best of it. When I got, even in the hole, I was in the hole for 64 days. After 5-6 days, I had that damn cell open, wide open.
To where you come and go as you please.
Eating whatever I want to eat, eating whatever they eating up there with the warden eating.
Yeah. Were you still exercising, working out?
Working out and everything. I just made friends with the trustee. The
Yes.
trustee was from Arkansas too.
Oh.
And me and him.
Where was the prison at?
Forest City.
Where?
Forest City.
Forest City? Oh, Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
Same prison where T.I. was locked up there.
Okay.
Project Pat, the rapper, he was locked up there. A lot of your major celebrities that been in trouble, they always send them there. It's a minimum security federal prison.
Okay.
So it's not like you don't really get treated like a inmate.
Right.
Because
they know that you've made mistakes.
Right.
They're not huge mistakes.
Right.
You know.
We didn't even dress like that. I wore Nikes and khakis and
Gotcha.
T-shirt and if you had respect or whatever, you could wear jewelry.
Right.
But if you're disrespected, then somebody's gonna take your jewelry.
Just for the kids that are listening, prison's no fun.
No.
You don't want to go there.
No.
It's not a country club that, happy times.
Not at all.
But you make the best of it.
I made the best of it.
In your mind, you make the best of it. Exactly.
Right. And that's all I could do. Is just make the best
Now, we
of it.
skipped ahead to 2000. I don't know how we got here. I wanted to talk about 1993, man. That was a good year, man.
93 was an awesome year.
Yeah, every time you walk in the door, the first thing you see,
is
besides the chicken picture, is you look to the left of the hallway, you got a newspaper clipping. Tell me about that newspaper clipping,
man,
1993.
A lot of champions to this day, successful world champions were at that fight and fought in that same particular tournament.
Yes.
And I'm talking about fighters like Floyd Mayweather, David Diaz. There's a few others. There's a ton of names on there. I can't.
Yes.
But which is the National Golden Gloves, which is one of the most powerful tournaments in amateur boxing. It is the most powerful tournament in amateur boxing. And in that year, Well, first of all, the '90s, the economy was booming anyway in the '90s, so there was lots of money and stuff to float around. But that is actually when I started getting recognized. That is when I started thinking about what I want to really do with boxing. If I want to be a world champion, which was my dream, is being the featherweight world champion, or do I want to coach, or do I want to just be involved and be a commentator, or whatever, you know. And in doing that, in 1993, and my fast life that I was living, I was kind of forced to, when things happened to me, and with that crazy getting in trouble,
right.
I was forced to go with my backup plan.
Okay.
Which was myself.
Yes.
And the next question is, are you good enough to really do something on your own and make this dream reality, as far as being a coach and having a team and having your own gym, and
So 2001, this is when you're
Yeah.
out, you're free,
yeah.
the whole world's ahead of you.
Yeah.
What to do now?
What to do now?
What do you do?
What do I do? And I'm gonna go back just a tad bit.
Okay, Rodney Gillespie, go. Yeah.
When I went to prison,
Okay.
and while I was there, I mean, there was a lot of it's nothing but time. You have nothing but time.
Right.
While I was in there, my right hand to God, I had my pen and paper, and I wrote this life that I'm living right now. I wrote it.
Yes.
I put it on paper. I came out with a plan. And I'm living the dream.
Okay. So you're writing this down. What did you write?
When I was there, I was writing. I started off writing, okay, I want to have a gym. So I was like, okay, I want to have a gym, but how are you going to get people to, you're not a world champion. How are you going to keep people to come to your gym? Where are you going to have your gym? Well, I had already made the decision that I wasn't moving back to Hot Springs, because Hot Springs is why I was there. So that decision was made. I'm relocating.
Right.
You know that.
So you're at least 2 or 3 hours away.
Yeah.
Do you still have any people in Hot Springs?
My whole family lives there. Mom,
Whole
dad,
family.
everybody.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So but I can't live there.
Right. Still got family reunions down there?
Yeah, everything. We go down there here and there, but I just couldn't. It was just, I didn't know if I could handle it.
Absolutely. No, you didn't want to be tempted anymore.
No.
Yeah.
I don't have, I have a choice now of going ahead and with my plan. And one thing to learn in prison was discipline. I did learn a lot of discipline in prison too.
Yeah.
And in my plan and what I was writing, I think I had to go through some of these things right here to make this stuff work. And when I wrote my business plan down, it required having $20,000.
Did you have any of that prize money in your bank account?
I did not.
Ouch.
So
how? Why? Who spent that money?
I got out, and I had a little bit of money set aside. Not very much. What I have? Probably $3,000.
Not quite enough?
Not enough at all to do anything. But it's better than nothing.
You got that right.
So I had $3,000 to work with. So I get out, and I get a job. I'm at the. I had to get a job at the car lot for about 30 days.
Okay.
Which I figured out that that I can sell.
Oh, selling at the car lot.
Yeah, I'm working at the car lot as a salesman.
Yeah, you're a good
Out,
talker.
man, I'm like, man, I can sell.
And people need cars, so yeah.
So it worked
My
out.
dad was a used car salesman, yeah.
And so I worked at actually I was at a new car. They had me really nice in Little Rock. But I worked there, and it was just it was too much. It was wearing me out to where I couldn't do what I needed to do, what my original plan was, and that's to have my gym.
Well, that's the life of a salesman. It takes your whole life away from you.
I can do this.
Yes. So, you can make some good money selling the cars. You get a good commission, but you're thinking about selling cars all the time. Even when you're off work, you're not off work.
That wasn't for me. I had 30 days of that. That wasn't for me. So we moved to Conway, and when I moved to Conway, there was a gym hiring, a fitness center.
Okay.
Called Extreme Fitness was the name of the fitness center then. Now it's 365.
Oh, I know that gym. That's a nice gym. Yeah.
So I got hired over there by a man, Scott Nichols, and he hired me in 2002, maybe. That was 2002, 3, something like that.
Something like that. Okay.
And he hired me. I remember it was salary plus commission.
Okay. Yeah, I worked at Bally's Health and Fitness.
Right.
Salary plus commission.
Salary plus commission. So, and I became the top salesman. Top salesman by far, always.
Yes.
And so I was making pretty good money, probably $40,000, $50,000 a year.
That'll do.
So I'm like putting money aside as I'm doing this.
Living simply.
Right.
Got to rent in a little place.
And I started off with living in a little apartment and one room apartment and moving, whatever.
Yeah.
But I sit there and man, I got so much I want to say. I'm skipped around.
Nah, no worries, man. The life of Rodney Gillespie, boxer, other thing, entrepreneur, amongst other things.
Yes. So I sit there and I took that job, and I wound up having my daughter. My daughter's mother decided she wanted to choose drugs over our 6-year-old daughter at the time.
Yikes.
So I said, why don't you just leave her here with me?
Yeah.
And so I put her in the plan.
Yeah, you had to make a little room on that paper for daughter. Didn't know that was coming.
I had to put
but
her
I'm very happy she's here.
So that worked out because when I got her, she wound up liking boxing.
Oh,
started competing, and she wound up becoming a national champion as well.
What? Chip off the block.
Yes. She wound up competing at 8 years old and becoming a national champion too.
She's still around here somewhere?
She lives in Forest City, but she has there's 2 belts in there.
Yes.
The one with all the stones on it.
Yes.
Is Aaliyah's. That's my daughter. She's now 17.
Aaliyah.
Yeah.
Good job.
And the belt beneath it is mine. I put them both up there because they both our national. There was our first national title. She got hers and I got mine.
Who trained Aaliyah?
I did. I taught her to box.
Yes, you did.
I did.
Taught her from a young age.
6 years old, and she was ready at 8.
And where were you training at? Mostly at home?
No, at the fitness center. That was another story. When I started working at that fitness center, I don't think I should open my mouth, but I kind of told the boss what my plans were.
Well, I mean, the fitness center 365 is mostly a weights.
Right.
It's a lot of free weights. Whenever I've been in there, it's nice. A lot of free weights, and not a lot of the machines that they have in there.
Right.
In other places.
Right.
And did you refit it? Because that's what I'm thinking.
Well, what happened. I pulled out my folder, and I had a meeting with my boss, And
Scott Nichols.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just showed him what I was. I showed him who I was. And I showed him the pictures of me and Snoop Dogg, Dre, and all that good stuff. I'm like, dude, I've had hundreds of boxing matches. I was like, I could teach boxing here. What about that? So he agreed to it, and we do a 60-40 split. He bought all the equipment that I needed. And so he did just that. And I wound up teaching boxing over there. And it was a success.
Wow. Okay.
And I started gaining clients and stuff, and I started making a lot of money. A matter of fact, I made so much money that I didn't even get paid my last check. He fired me.
How you gonna do that? What happened?
Yeah. You tell me. It happened, though. And I wound up trying to sue him and small claims and all kinds of stuff. I got my daughter and everything, man.
Yeah.
He did that to me. But, hey, we're friends now.
Water under the bridge. That's
Water
what
under the
happens.
bridge,
Yes.
and hey, everything that happened was meant to be.
But that lit the fire for what became Gillespie's boxing gym.
That lit the
your
fire.
own place.
That lit the fire.
Yes.
And then in that, I got an invitation. I had a guy from the other fitness center across town that had heard about me.
Okay. What fitness center is that?
At that time, it was Fitness Protein.
Fitness Protein.
On Meadow
in
Lake.
the mid 2000s, I
Yeah.
guess, or mid to late.
Mid
2000s.
Yeah. And he asked me what I was making, and they were willing to pay me, right at, it was like $20,000 more per year
Why?
to come over there.
You are valuable, Rodney.
So I went over there.
Your skill, your knowledge is valuable, Rodney Gillespie.
I stayed at Extreme Fitness
Yes.
for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And then I switched and went to this other gym.
Well, did you help to refit that gym as well to where
Yes.
it had at least a heavy bag?
No, they had full-fledged boxing. That's why they hired me. They wanted me to leave that gym and go
Gotcha.
theirs.
Yes.
It was a smaller gym.
Yes.
So I went over there and I did just that. I stayed over there 3 or 4 years. The gym went killing. This gym was suffering because I
Yes.
left. So
Now,
I'm
were
putting
there any
numbers
boxers that worked there as well?
No, I'm the only boxer.
See, you're the only one with clout. That's
Yeah.
what it is. You brought
Yeah.
experience, knowledge, clout to these facilities.
Right.
Don't let people think don't belittle that, because that is
Right.
important.
Right.
When you're trying to establish yourself as a boxing gym, you got to have been a boxer
Yep.
before you could pour that knowledge into somebody else.
Oh, it gets better.
Please.
That gym did the same thing to me as the other gym. Sucked me dry and then fired me. Oh, it gets even better.
Yes.
And I'm saying this on podcast because he needs to hear about it.
Well, no.
Because I know.
This is what happens.
I know what he did. He not only fired me, I'm not going to say his name because he knows who he is.
Right.
But he fired me, and he went to his parents and he said all these bad things to him, which is the owner of the fitness center.
Aw.
And not only did he do that, he called some of the other gyms in Conway and told them not to hire me. He tried to make my name, because he didn't want me as a competitor.
Correct.
So he sat there and tried to ruin my name. He's now at 365 right now.
Yes.
He works at 365, and I've given it to God. We're friends now. I've given it to God.
That's
but
good.
You know what you did.
You know what you did.
And it didn't work, because you cannot stop my passion for boxing and my experience of what I have. You can't take that away from me. And even myself know that I have a gift of more than just boxing, because I take people and reform them.
Yeah.
I take nothing and make something out of, and I do it all the time, and I do it at incredible times. I mean, I set a goal, and that's just what it is. That's just what it is.
All these experiences, all these things are very telling of you, Rodney Gillespie. It lets me know that, yes, you've had some people that have sucked your knowledge, taken it, and then let you to the curbside, and you've chosen to forgive, because you can live with that hate
Right.
and that pain
Yeah.
in your head and just have your teeth grit all the time, or you can let it go, learn from that experience,
and move on.
And where are you at
And
now?
that's what I did. I had a guy when that guy fired me from that gym. So I'm here, no job. So I had a friend told me to go down to this little martial arts gym and talk to this guy by the name of Joel Newton, and said that he's a really nice guy and he's a Christian, and maybe I could train some of my clients over there. Because when I left the gym, my clients were like, hey, they're coming wherever I go.
Right.
I had at least 10 clients that were faithful. They knew I had my daughter, and they were faithful. Wherever I tell them to meet me at the train, they're gonna meet me there to train.
Oh, that's nice.
So I had that.
Yeah.
And he let me train in his martial arts gym, and everything was good for about a couple months until I started getting more and more and more clients. Matter of fact, I had got to a point to where I had more clients than he had his whole gym, which was I left that gym with about 20 clients. About 20 clients. 20 faithful paying clients.
And he's making a little bit off of you, right?
He's making rent.
Yeah.
But he went up on my rent so much, he doubled my rent when he seen that my clientele that he doubled my rent of what he wanted. And I was like, for like $500 more, I can have my own spot.
Correct.
So I was like, all right. So I wound up leaving that and moving into this little bitty 1,500 square foot gym. And
was it in a plaza or was it a standalone? Yeah, like one of the cubbies in a plaza. Mm-hmm.
And it worked out for a good year.
Where was that?
Here in Conway on Meadow Lake, where Domino's. Well, in the same complex as Domino's Pizza now, but further down. And I went in there and I stayed there for about a year, and I grew out of it because I got like 50 clients.
Yeah.
And so.
Was it also called Gillespie's Gym?
Yes, Gillespie Boxing.
Gillespie
it was
Boxing.
in 2011.
2011.
And after I left that, after I got out of that gym, I was like, man, I got to get something bigger, man. I am really growing. My name is growing.
Yes.
And I moved into another gym, which was 2,500 square foot, and gym steady growing. So this guy, he gives me the gym for 15. What did he get? No. When I moved in, he told me it was going to be, I think, $1,700 a month.
Yes.
And then after he seen how much clientele I was getting, then he comes with a new lease of $2,500 per month.
Come on, man. How are you going to get ahead if people keep trying to drag you back down?
So that happened, and I said, damn, I gotta get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
And so I met a lady, and she showed me a picture of this place, and this place looked like it was damn near condemned. The outside was all screwed up. The inside was, and she was like, don't panic. She was like, I can talk to the people, and maybe you can work something out where you can clean it up and paint it and do your own thing, and maybe they can go down on the rent. And I was like, you know what? Let me look at it.
Yes.
And I walked in, and I saw everything, and I was like, oh, my God. I was like, can they give me a few months? If they give me a few months of not paying rent, and I'll get this sumbitch going,
Right.
I'm sorry, you have to beat that out, I guess, huh?
It's your podcast. You do what you want. I try to keep it clean for the kids because I know they're going to be listening.
Yes, sir, okay.
But no, and I know this building at 1100 Markham in Conway, Arkansas, 1101?
1101.
1101 Markham Street in Conway, Arkansas. I know this building. First time I stepped into this building, it was a Cajun restaurant. And I actually DJ'd a party back in the back where the boxing ring is now, and it was great. I mean, it was colorful. It was with all the Cajun colors, the purple, the gold, and then that guy went under. I'm not sure exactly why. Spent his money wrong, and then it became the Soul Food Cafe, and that was pretty nice. I came in, I had some soul food once or twice, and that was good. But I heard previous to that, this was a church. This was a church. So this could be a very spiritual place if you believe in that sort of thing.
Right.
So Rodney Gillespie, this is you walking into it after it's been a couple of restaurants and then it's been empty. What happened?
When we come into this gym, once we got done cleaning it out, I just saw the vision. I just saw it. I was like, man, this is the boxing gym. This is what the gym's supposed to look like. This was never meant to be anything but a boxing gym.
Absolutely.
And in all reality, that's all it could be. And me taking that inspired me to do more. Let's make this home.
Yeah. It's a standalone building. It's not in a plaza, not connected to anything else, has its own parking lot. I saw you have some tires in the background, if people want to work out and do their CrossFit, they can do that as well
yes,
out there. That's incredibly strenuous exercise. So as you walk in the building, now that you have cleaned this place up and made it the way you want, or is it always an ongoing process?
Yeah, we're doing so many things to this place. It's going to be ongoing for a long time. We're making improvements, but it's still a lot of work to do.
Give the people in their heads a tour as you walk in the front door of Gillespie's Boxing Gym at 1101 Markham Street, Conway, Arkansas. What do they see?
Well, as you walk into the gym, you know, of course, there's a big picture of me, and we have like a hall of fame, but you walk down with pictures and stuff of me competing as a kid and as a young man, and you know, from 8 years old all the way up till my 20s. You know, so you get to see all that good stuff, and I even sometimes, people like to ask questions and say, "Oh, did you box?" or whatever, and I like to be able to tell them yes, and I always keep my DVD handy.
Right.
So if someone asks, I have no problem putting it on the TV and letting you see what I did.
Now, can they find this online?
No, you cannot.
Why not? Put it out there, man.
I know. Everyone says, man, why don't you put that out there?
Put it out there.
You know what, Dan? You do me a favor and put it out there. I'll give you the DVD.
All right. I think I can rip it. I'm not sure if I still have a ripping program, but I may be able to do that.
I'll give you the DVD and you can do it. It's got there's fights on there from when I was 9 years old all the way up till my early 20s.
I'll rip it and I'll give it back to you, so you can put it on your account. You'll make a YouTube account for nothing, and just put it out there, and that way it'll be Gillespie's Boxing YouTube account. And you can actually start making videos of people boxing in there. I know that you have people from around town.
Right.
One lady in particular, she's taking pictures and making videos and putting them on her page. But yeah, it'd be nice to have your page really explode with videos and people of what actually people can see as they go in. And yes, you got that wall of fame down the hallway, and then it opens up into the gym. What do we see back there?
That's where you walk in, and the gym is you see the ring. It's kind of dark in there. I mean, it's a whole nother. You go from one feeling to another. As soon as you step down into to the ring area, you're super pumped.
Yeah.
You're super pumped. There's always boxing. I record all the fights from the weekend with the DVR. So while you're training, you're in the boxing world the whole time. There's always a fight playing.
I saw that.
So and
big
that right
screen
there
TV.
that keeps you, where your mind needs to be focused.
Yes.
And that is something else that I say in this gym right here. I'm so glad to have that hall.
Yes.
Anything mall commercialized or whatever, you're probably not going to get that.
Mm-hmm.
Walking down the hall or whatever, just like at a fight,
Yes.
and but yes, in my gym, I train all levels.
Okay. Because I've seen fellas in there, and I've come in myself, and I've hit a heavy bag. I by no means want to get back into that ring and get hit. I'm the guy that doesn't want to get hit. Okay, but I do like a heavy bag, man, and I do recall some of the things I learned back in the mid '90s, and I wasn't professional. I wasn't even an amateur fighter. I sparred a little bit at Candyman's gym in on Church Street in Orlando, Florida. And that was a gym that was very similar to this, where you walk down a hall and it's not perfect by any means. It's dark, but it gives you that feeling of, I want to get in there and I want to train. I want to feel better. I want to look better. I want to be stronger in mind and body. And that's what you get when you come into Gillespie's boxing gym. Rodney Gillespie. What kind of training do you offer back there to the people, or do you let them go free?
No. I do all the coaching here, and I take them through. We do fitness and conditioning training normally first, and that consists of before doing anything, we stretch, and we get a good little stretching for about 10 minutes, good 5-10 minutes of good stretching, and then we normally go on like a nice walk. I call it walk run because not everybody can run. So a little short distance, probably like a quarter mile.
Oh, around the block somewhere.
Yeah, just to get the heart rate up.
Yes.
And when they, once you come inside, heart rate's up. Then we go to a few exercises sometimes, and exercises that go lead into a little bit of bag work, a little punch pad work, a little bit of jump rope. I mean, it just varies day to day. It's different workouts. I mix it up a whole lot. There's, there's some days I'll focus a whole lot on the abs. There's some days I'll focus more on the shoulders and whatever. So I kind of mix it up. It's not the same thing all the time.
Well, that's good. It makes your body think, because if you do the same thing every day, your body's going to start to condition itself to get used to that. So if you mix it up, you're taking what you learned from your illustrious coach, rest his soul, but and you're putting it into other people that have come in. Is your clientele building, or are people finding out about Gillespie's boxing gym?
They're talking about it. I mean, people. I mean, it's it's crazy now. It's kind of hard to believe. I'm gonna say it. It is really hard to believe that. Like I honestly cannot go anywhere. I mean, I'm noticed now. I'm noticed.
Good.
And it's like it's hard to really sink in because I really didn't. Of course, everybody wants their dream to come true, but I never thought that it would just all the way come true. Because I mean, there's other doors opening right now for me. With this business, and all because of this business.
So, I mean,
and it's just like sometimes it's like, whoa, really, Rodney, are you really here?
Well, beyond that, how's the family life?
Oh man, good. I mean, I was blessed with Junior.
How did that come about?
Okay,
I know that there's somebody else. There's a partner. In this. How did that come about, man? What's the relationship like?
Me and my wife we dated back in the 90s when I was boxing and all that good stuff. And she, at that time,
so she knew you back then.
Yeah. At that time, she was a teen model. That's how we met.
People, look her up. She's a teen model, okay? It's obvious.
She was a teen model, and we were together back then. But in that fast time in my life, I was not ready to commit. I was too, and she was. Both of us, we were young.
In your 20s, yeah.
Yeah, young. I'm quite a bit older than her, but she, still, I was young and not ready. She wasn't ready.
Right.
So she went on with her life and got married to someone, and she stayed married, I think, 10, 11 years. And I went on with my life and got married as well somewhere else. And years and years down the line, we find each other.
Aww.
Her relationship didn't work out. Mine didn't work out. She was living in Russellville at the time.
About 45 minutes away for those people.
I'm in Conway, and we connected.
Where'd you meet up?
We met up in Conway. We met in Conway.
But how did you get in touch with each other?
That's great.
Social
media.
It's an online situation. Yeah. That's how kids are meeting these days. You kids.
I think it was social media. I really do. I think
you're like, hey, I dated that girl back in the 90s.
But the only thing is, like, me and my wife, we've always been friends.
Yes.
We've never, like, we had a breakup years and years ago, but it wasn't like a breakup.
Yeah.
It was only,
just wasn't the right time.
Wasn't the right time, and like even some of the stories that I shared with you, she remembers some of that stuff because she was around.
Yes.
And I mean, once we got back together.
And when did you get married?
We're going on our second year.
Oh, that's excellent. Still in the honeymoon phase.
Yeah, we're going on our second year, and let's see, Junior's 15 months. Well,
yes.
Yeah, he's 15 months old, and like I said, it's just been blessing after blessing. I'm like overwhelmed.
Man, you haven't smiled bigger than when you're talking about your family.
Yeah, I'm very blessed, very blessed.
That's fantastic.
I'm very blessed because I haven't always been a saint.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of bad things happen to me, and I've had people misuse me, mistreat me, from the job situation, female situation on.
But you could have gone two ways. You could have taken that and made it anger and fuel you and just been angry with the world, or you become at peace.
Right.
And from what I've seen, Rodney Gillespie, you become at peace.
Yes, I'm at peace now.
2 years into a great marriage, you got this nice boy, you got the gym,
right?
And things are looking up for you, Rodney Gillespie.
Yes, things are looking up, and I just thank God. I still have a hard time believing that I'm in this spot, but I mean, I did it. I did it, and
not only did it, but still doing it, man.
I'm still doing it.
All right, let's get some more bodies in that door. 1101 Markham Street, Conway, Arkansas. Gillespie's Boxing. Where can they find you? Can they find you online? I think they can, right?
Find us online on Facebook. We also have an Instagram account, Gillespie Boxing, or you can email GillespieBoxing@yahoo.com. I'll talk to you. I'm text friendly. Number here at the gym is 501-205-8604. Or, like I said, I'm text friendly. You can call me at 501-730-8734.
Oh, we also got to talk about things that are coming up real soon. You're not only teaching people how to box, you're also promoting boxing events. Tell me about it.
October 19th here in Conway. We have some fighters here at our gym is going to debut, and some other fighters are going to be fighting too on an amateur card here in Conway at the National Guard Armory. Doors open at 4, first fight's at 5. There's going to be UCA dance team is going to be performing during the intermission. There's going to be fighters coming from different states, from Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Louisiana, Tennessee. We plan on having anywhere from 20 to 30 bouts. It's going to be a good time.
This is sanctioned fight?
Sanctioned, USA Boxing sanctioned event. So it's, everything is regulation, real boxing. Don't know. We may have a little media.
Yes.
So we'll see how that goes. I'm in the works and taking care of some things right now. I'm trying to get more people out here to see these kids do some boxing.
Absolutely. Any kids that are of note that are coming out of this gym that are going to be fighting?
I have my main event.
Professional or amateur?
This is amateur.
Amateur fighting.
I have a kid. I've had him since he was 4 years old. His name is Armando Arredondo. He's 4.
Great name.
Yeah. I've had him since he was 4. He's now 12. He's had 75 amateur fights as an amateur, and he's going to be fighting that night. You guys need to come out and see this kid. He's amazing. He was ranked number 3 in the country at a time.
Yeah.
The kid he's fun to watch. Along with him, I have a great team. I got a lot of talent on my team here. Got a little kid in there by the name of Terry. He's gonna be making his debut, and he's a little 75-pound 11-year-old.
75
Yeah,
pounds.
man. You
Probably flies around that ring.
He's
Pop,
good.
pop, 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 pop.
I got a heavyweight you guys got to come out and watch. I have a lightweight that you guys definitely need to come watch. He's 23 years old. He's had about 11 amateur fights. He's about 140 pounds.
Yeah.
And he's the truth. I also have a 16-year-old that's had about 15 fights, and he's something special as well. He travels from Cattle Valley, I think.
I don't even know where that's at.
Is it Cattle Valley? Cersei?
Somewhere in Arkansas.
Somewhere in Arkansas.
Northeast
Yeah,
Arkansas,
something like
maybe.
that. Anyway, I'm hoping to have anywhere from 5 to 10 from my gym fighting on this card that night.
20 bouts. That's an all day.
Actually, it's not.
So much, man. So much fun.
It's gonna be a lot of fun in the short rounds. The kids, all the fights are based on age, weight, and experience.
Okay.
So
they all don't go 10 rounds, right?
3-round fights.
3-round fights. Okay.
3-round fights.
That makes sense.
And then the little bitty ones only go a minute. So.
Oh, sweet.
So some of the fights are pretty quick, but there's gonna be some that you definitely can't miss.
Yes.
Yeah, so we gotta
and then you got the UCA dance team. They're gonna.
Dance
I guess
team,
they're performing as ring girls, maybe too.
Yeah, we got the ring girls and all that good stuff. We have all of it. We'll definitely have a concession. There's gonna be a DJ.
Unfortunately, I had a wedding that day, or else I definitely would have been involved.
Giveaway. We're gonna give away a whole lot of stuff. We're gonna give away T-shirts and probably silent auction. We're gonna give away a whole lot of stuff. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Excellent, man. That sounds like a lot of fun. And if you can't make it to that show, and I encourage you to make it to that show, do everything you can. October 19th. And where's that going to be at?
It's at the National Guard Armories, 300 Exchange Street here in Conway, Arkansas.
And they're setting it up for you, or how is that?
Everything to be. That's where the fight's gonna. That's the location. Everything where the fight's gonna be held. Everything to be set up.
But they do fights there often, or do they do events there?
All the time.
Oh, that's fantastic.
This is like, this should be like my 15th show here in Conway.
Wow.
I do these things all the time.
Man.
And that's something else that I don't even really promote, is that I promote amateur shows, and also I promote professional shows. And my wife now, she is becoming a professional promoter, and she's about to start doing professional shows, professional boxing shows.
Excellent.
And I'm going to sponsor my wife.
Team Gillespie, baby. Team Gillespie all the way. I'm Gilson. So we're I guess somewhere in the back, somewhere in the past, some of our relatives are Gil something. Gillespie, Gilson, somewhere in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it had to have matched up way back when. Okay, before we go, and I know we're going to finish this up, tell me about the weight classes. What are, from the lightest weight class to the highest, if you have them in your head. If not, don't worry about it.
Is amateur boxing or professional?
Oh, okay, both. Let's go with amateur.
Amateur, it
What are
starts
the weights?
at 50 pounds.
What?
8
What
years
is
old.
what weight is that?
Man, I don't think they have names for those little weights like that yet.
Gotcha.
But they start, 8 years old amateur is 50 pounds. And like I say, you fight on, everything's based on weight, age, and experience. Mm-hmm. If you're 50 pounds, then you can fight a kid that's 55 pounds, 9 years old, or 8 years old.
Gotcha.
Now, if you're 9 years old and you weigh 50 pounds, then you can fight a kid that weighs 50 pounds or 55 pounds, and you can fight an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old because you're 9.
Okay, it sounds like this could get real intricate.
Yeah.
So 5
pounds up, 5 pounds down.
5 pounds. So all right. So what about maybe that's the amateurs? Amateurs probably have a lot of different levels and a lot of different.
Right.
But for professionals, is that a little more cut and dry? A little more
professionals
standard?
is just what it is.
Just what it is.
Featherweight, lightweight, middleweight, heavyweight.
Excellent.
You know?
Excellent. I'm going to need a pie chart on this one, or at least a flow chart to figure out. I know I'm probably in the super heavyweight class. I'll
They
be
have super
butter
heavyweight.
bean, baby. Butter bean.
In amateur boxing, they have super heavyweight division.
Super heavyweight.
No, let me tell you the tricky part about that. Now that you said that, all right, a heavyweight in amateur boxing is considered a heavyweight from 179 to 200.
Oh, I lost that a long time ago.
Okay, a super heavyweight is anything over 201.
Okay.
That's where it gets unfair.
Yeah, because Butterbean could be fighting against me.
You come in, you weigh at 250, and then you fighting.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. I wish you worked at a carnival. 250. To be young again.
But if you fighting a 7'4" guy that weighs 280, that's chiseled up.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, I met Lennox Lewis, man. That guy was big.
You see what I'm saying?
He looked like the Predator.
That gets unfair.
Yeah.
A guy that weighs 205 has to fight a guy that weighs 278. That's 7 foot tall. That's lean with muscle. It's unfair, but that's how it works.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, all right. And you're training them all right here.
I'm training them all.
Gillespie's Boxing, man.
Come on in.
Any last words for the people?
Gillespie Boxing, where anyone can learn to box. Come see us here. We do offer a free workout. I have no problem with letting you try it out. Come on in and talk to me and tell me what's going on with you, and hopefully we can find a plan that works.
Well, there you have it, party people. Rodney Gillespie, Gillespie's Boxing Gym, 1101 Markham Street in Conway, Arkansas. Now, there's a way to get yourself in shape. Let me tell you, just punching the heavy bag. And no, I have not gone in the ring and sparred with anybody. No, not me. Not yet. Not, if ever, you know. I did in the 90s when I was a kid. I boxed a little bit. By no means was I in any of these classes, amateur or anything. Maybe a little sparring here and there. But for the most part, I enjoy hitting that heavy bag. It twists your body. You know, if you're doing the side punches from the side and straight on, you twist and you work more muscles than you think you will. Punching something, you work your arms, you work your waist, you work your legs, moving around the bag. Yeah, boxing is a real good exercise. And it was real good talking to Rodney Gillespie. The man has knowledge that he's learned from a young age. He stumbled a little bit, made some mistakes, but his life is back on track, man. And I see nothing but good things for Rodney and his fine family over at Rodney Gillespie's Boxing Gym, 1101 Markham Street in Conway, Arkansas, just outside of downtown. Go check it out. It's a standalone building, and it is built for boxing. He is so right. Thank you so much for being on the program, Rodney Gillespie. Looking forward to spending more time with you at your gym in the near future. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. If you want to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call at 501-470-6386 or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for me. It's Keys Dan, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.
Radio What? The music you want with some great quotes.
Don't tell a woman she's pretty. Tell her there's no other woman like her, and all roads will open to you. Jules Renard.
The music you want. RadioWhat.com.
Be on Radio What. Call 501-470-6386. Say your name, where you're from, and you're listening to What? The music you want is on RadioWhat.com.